great finish.
It's going to work. George puts up a long-range three and nails it. Kayla G for three.
Back to Nicholson, off the glass.
Three ball. Unbelievable. Been an impressive performance.
Shot, she gives it off, almost a half court from Melbourne, it's gone! And the look on her face says it all.
It's the penultimate game of the final round of the Cygnett WNBL season, and haven't we got a salivating matchup for you? It's second against first, the second place Southside Flyers hosting the top-ranked Townsville Fire. It's a genuine final before the finals, and for some, a preview of this season's grand final. As the name suggests, the Fire are the hottest team in the league right now. 11 straight wins for them. But as their opponent's name suggests, Southside is flying at the right time of the season, winning 6 of their past 7. Tonight is also about more than a top-of-the-table clash as both teams take part in Southside's Lifeline round to raise awareness around the importance of mental health. And if anyone is struggling, help is always available. A special game looms on a special night for this spectacular league. Hello and welcome to a rocking State Basketball Centre for some Saturday night hoops. Ben Waterworth with you alongside a pumped dual Olympic medalist and world champion Jenny Screen. Jennifer, we have a very exciting commentary assignment tonight, to say the least.
I am pumped after the prolific shootout between the UC Caps and Perthlings just before this game. Whilst there isn't much in this one in terms of the win on the board because the ladder is set, there is so much to play for in terms of the mental game heading into the finals and, like you said, a potential grand final matchup.
So with Townsville already having the split, even if Southside win tonight, it means that Townsville will still finish on top of the WNBL ladder. Hence, the finals matchups are already set. It'll be Townsville and Perth, and then Southside and Melbourne in the two respective semi-finals starting next week. Bring that on. But before that, we've got a really important contest between these two sides. It's a great opportunity, Jenny, for a final before a final, as we have a look at the Southside Flyers and how they will line up tonight, and really looking forward to seeing how this Cheryl Chambers coach side continues to go, particularly with, you know, they've been really impressive ever since they had that injury to Lauren Jackson.
They have early in February. I was a little concerned when Lauren went down with that Achilles injury, what would be of the Southside Flyers. But hey, credit to them, next person up mentality. They have the depth. In my opinion, to any other team in the league, they have the depth coming off. But they also have depth with experience. And when you're fighting for a championship, that is really, really important. On the other hand...
Some decent depth there, Screeny.
I know, we had this discussion, didn't we? I do agree with you there, obviously, with the pickup in Shyla Hill coming up from the Sydney Flames, but I love the coaching of Shannon Seabohm. He has picked players to suit the way he plays, and Tiana Hawkins is a dark horse, shall we say, in terms of the fighting for that MVP spot tomorrow night at the MVP Awards. So, with her playing so well, Nicholson not out in tonight's game with an injury, it's going to be pretty interesting in this one.
Beautiful segue, Screeny, into the MVP candidates for the Susie Bakovic medal. Tiana Hawkins, my goodness, hasn't she been a big game winner in many games for the Townsville Fire? She's the sole Fire nominee for the Susie Bakovic medal, and for the Southside Flyers, Kayla Thornton as well. So the two imports of the two respective sides we're about to see in contention for the MVP tomorrow night. Kayla Thornton also a nominee for the Defensive Player of the Year as well, along with Steph Reed as well. We've two terrific imports we're going to see tonight in Thornton and Tiana Hawkins, and Thornton has been a constant threat at both ends of the floor this season.
She has been a beast, a colossal beast at both ends of the floor. Not everyone's cup of tea, but I can tell you when she steps on that white line, she is ready to play, and she's been a great pickup for her team and a menace and a headache for anyone that has to come up against her. There's a lot of great candidates, and if we go back to or backtrack just a little bit the MVP, it's going to be an interesting one. The only thing that has Tiana for me is the 11-game winning streak. But then if you talk about consistency for the team, for me, Kayla George has been Miss Consistency and probably the best season ever in her career in the WNBL. So Anne has become a mum. She's probably doing it with no sleep at all, which probably adds to her getting that for the MVP. So those two are the shining lights for me, and for me it's about consistency and your team winning, and both those girls have that in spades for their team.
And if you're Kayla Thornton as well, the definition of consistency for her, she's had at least 10 points in all 19 games that she's played so far this season.
It's just tough. It's just tough. But how good is that our league has these caliber of players and they can perform night in, night out for our fans out there? It's a big night for these two teams. It's top of the table, first v second, the Flyers in second, the Fire first. It's also Southside's Lifeline round. The Flyers are donating $100 for every assist made during the game tonight, and that total at game's end will be matched by the Townsville Fire as well. And the Flames have already donated $1,000 to Lifeline as well. So lots of feel-good vibes around the State Basketball Centre tonight as we get underway. And there's the two MVP candidates going at it. Thornton put it up in the face of Hawkins, but it's an early stop here for the Fire and Steph Reed. These two teams have already met twice this season. Townsville getting the wins on both occasions. As Reed, in a natural habitat here, driving to the rack and laying it in to give Townsville the opening bucket. I tell you what, I called the game at Bendigo on Wednesday night, and Townsville Fire put on a clinic. As we know, Kayla Thornton can do that well, getting the first bucket for her Southside Flyers tonight. But Townsville are on another level at the moment, not just offensively, but more so defensively. They are the #1 team in the league in terms of points against with 77. Two apiece, early stages. Reed has 6 to shoot here. Guarded closely by Bishop. Doesn't matter, though, for the young gun guard who gets her second field goal. Talk about someone that's flourished under the tutelage of Shannon Seabaum. He's entrusted her with court time and running this ship, and she has taken that with both hands. And there was a great package. If you haven't seen it, check into the socials for the WNBL, because she is the definition of hard work, is Steph Reed, in terms of hard work and just biding your time. And I know Michelle Timms, the great of our game, is a huge fan, and she now has a just reward with green and gold call up to the Opal squad. Yes, one of 24 players named in that extended Opal squad. A bit of responsibility on the shoulders of Steph Reed again tonight. She almost lost control with Lauren Nicholson not playing tonight. Continues to be game-to-game proposition. Lauren Nicholson almost lost control. Kicks it out for Woods all night long. And we know that Woods can do that. She's made a name for herself at the back ends of last season into now, and the opportunities that she's been getting has Courtney Woods. 6.2 points per game, but she loves it from deep. 7-2 lead for the Fire early stages, hoping for their 12th win on the trot. Bishop with a lovely step inside. Nothing like old school fundamentals. A little bit of an up fake from Abby Bishop and a step through. 7-4 lead for the Fire becomes 10-4 as Hawk nails it from deep. And this is what they do. They can hurt you from any position on the floor. Woods, Samuelson, as we see a nice steal here and a push in transition. She's fast, Courtney Woods. Couldn't get that one to drop. An offensive rebound from Hawkins gives the Fire a 12-4 advantage. And they could extend it here. Sloppy pass from the Flyers as Samuelson lays it in, and danger signs early for the Southside Flyers. Carly's pumped. Cheryl Chambers calls a timeout as well. And this is the perfect start for the fired-up Townsville Fire. Absolutely. You can see they've come in all guns blazing, have the fire. They did this the other night against Bendigo, had an excellent start, and it was all off the defensive end because we know the output they have on the offensive end. For the Southside Flyers, while this is a dead rubber game, there is so much investment in this, not in terms of the mental application, but the momentum going into your first semi-final. You don't want to have a bad game and then go and match up against Melbourne Boomers next week in Melbourne in a huge derby that will be. But they need to start clicking. They've had a couple errant turnovers early on in this opening term, and this is a great timeout for Cheryl Chambers and her team to just take a breath and get back to the things they do well. And Townsville, as I mentioned before, have had the wood over Southside so far this season, but the last time they met, Screeney, was all the way back late last year, and a lot has happened for both teams during that time as well. Lauren Jackson, very influential for the Flyers in game one. She had 21 points against the Fire, but obviously she's not out there, and Townsville since have gone on this immense winning streak. Absolutely, probably off the back of when they last played the Southside Flyers, because they weren't even contention. I think they were sitting maybe 6th or 7th on the ladder. Most people have ridden them off. I was definitely one of those people, but credit to them, just sticking to what they know and trusting in their system and their coaching staff. And look where they are. They're the minor champions, premiership champions of the WNBL.
Samuelson is blocked by Bishop.
She just says, get out of here, does Abby Bishop, the veteran, former Opal as well. She's one that has most definitely stepped up in the absence of Lauren Jackson. More court time, more responsibility now. As we can see that, she means business tonight, ladies and gentlemen, but definitely stepped up in the absence of Jackson, has Bishop.
And she had to, really, as well. She was kind of next cab off the rank in terms of matchups to replace Lauren Jackson in the 5. And she gets an early confidence booster there with the block, but it's all the Fire early stages on the scoreboard with a 14-4 advantage. Hawkins v. Blitzarves. 6 to shoot here for Woods. What a revelation she's been, as Hawkins took a step too many and a travel is called against the star import.
Tough call there, give or take. Either way, anyone's interpretation of that one, didn't think it was too excessive. But a nice little stop and defensive set there from the Southside Flyers, especially coming out of a timeout.
Rochi for Thornton. What a matchup this is. Hawkins v. Thornton. Get Cole with a look here with the Spalding. Trying to work her way inside. Rochi pulls the trigger. Can't hit the triple. And the stop's banking up now for Townsville. Ruth pulls up. Interesting shot attempt and decision. Kind of all took us by surprise there. Not normally known for her three-point shooting. It's a 14-4 advantage still for Townsville. Bishop thought about the deep 2, almost travelled, and then laid it in for 2.
Just nice little read there by Abby Bishop. Nice little shot fake. Got Ruth up in the air and was able to put it to the floor and finish on a tough shot, really.
14-6 becomes 16-6 in favour of Townsville.
I'm a fan. Hawkins has gone to another level for me. She spoke so eloquently after their win in Bendigo on Wednesday night about where their mentality is. It's about winning. It's not about the individual prowess and domination. And I love her story, how she's come back from having a child and has lost lots of weight to get fit again and found her game here in Australia under Townsville.
Couldn't get that one to go there, the Flyers. 5.5 minutes left to play in this first quarter. And the Fire are rolling, they're humming. Courtney Woods adds another 2 to the scoreboard.
And this is what they do. They either get the defensive transition and they push really quickly, or they can force you into turnovers, and they did that to Bendigo. They had 26 points off said turnovers on Wednesday night.
Bishop, her third field goal, makes it 18-8 in favour of the Townsville Fire. Important night for Abby Bishop. The Flyers just trying to generate some momentum at the moment, but they need some stops at the defensive end of the floor, and that's not going to be one as Hawkins takes her tally to 9. A 20-6 lead, a 20-8 rather lead in favour of the Townsville Fires. An early foul is called here with just over 5 minutes remaining in this first quarter.
Great opening turn by the Townsville Fire. Getting ball through hands, getting some great defensive sets, pushing in transition, simple basketball. And they've really caught the Southside Flyer sleeping, if you will. But have no fear, with the depth they have, the caliber of talent they have, they'll definitely call themselves back into this one.
Oh, as Rochi goes into the Flyers bench there, Shyla Hill has checked into the game and very apologetic, as Conti rather, who has checked into the game herself, crashing into the Flyers bench. She's straight up though, so good sign. So just under 4.5 to play. It's a 20-8 lead in favour of the Townsville Fire. Hill was cutting towards the rack there. Hawkins didn't see it. Reed goes to work. Hill will now have a chance to shoot 3. She can't quite get it to go. Shyla Hill. 3-point shot just since joining the Fire via the Flames. Not quite working for her, except for the one game. That plenty of time for that to click. We know how much of a quality player she is. Bishop steps back for 3. Can't get it to go, and Hawkins wanted that Spalding more than anyone else. Lost control though. Potch on the floor. Forced the turnover. Cole to Potch, who lost control. A foul is called against the Fire.
And that's what Poch can do for you. She's like that X factor, if you will, off the bench. She can get her hands in the lanes and just runs the floor with intent. Long, athletic. Draws the foul there. Shyla had to come across and help, but great pickup for the Southside Flyers, and no doubt they'll be wanting to extend the services of her in the years to come.
Cole, lovely play off the inbounds pass. A 20-10 lead here for Townsville with just over 3.5 remaining in the first quarter. Great to have you with us on 9 now as Steph Reed trying to make something happen. Flyers tightening up on defense as Hawkins feeds heel for Akuzo, who's just come on. She was hoping for a heel cut. Miscommunication. Flyers get another stop. Carly Ernst also on the field. We're seeing depth early for both of these clubs. Top of the table clash at the SBC. Poch via Kuzo, two young guns of Aussie hoops going at it, and Ernst is there for the putback.
Great putback there by the vet, Carly Ernst. Nice penetration from Poch. Probably thought she had the better opportunity against Akuzo, but credit to her, her lateral footwork there, the ability to stay and wall up with probably the quicker footed, if you will, Poch. Townsville find themselves now here with an offensive opportunity.
Heel thought about the three, instead went to Samuelson. Offensive foul is called against Akuzo, who can't believe it. Teapot's out.
I'd love to see that one on the replay. That's really frustrates me when you want strong, capable players setting great screens. I think there was nothing in that, to be honest. Poch just didn't see her in a peripheral. But they're the things that we don't want to call, because you want players like Zatina to be able to set strong screens and create havoc for defense. And calls like that just makes people or players shy away from doing such things.
Great to have the thoughts of dual Olympic medalist Jenny Screen here on 9 now, as a cut from Ledger Walker almost came off, but Cole was there to knock it away. Crystal Ledger Walker checking into the game for the Townsville Fire. Poch has been dangerous since checking into the game as well for the Flyers, involved in everything at the offensive end of the floor. Ernst can't get the turnaround to go. 2.5 left in the first quarter, and then can't get the 3 to go either. It's a 20-12 lead in favour of the Townsville Fire. Here's Akuzo. Samuelson was trying to drive towards the rack there. Ledger Walker for Samuelson. Closely guarded by Conti. Roof lost control, and Thornton just regains it. So Flyers just with a little bit of momentum in the past couple of minutes, able to flip the momentum of the contest. Here's Conti against Heel. 7 to shoot for Ernst, who wasn't quite expecting it. Cole, though, lost her footing. Thornton puts up the prayer. Almost dropped. Looked terrible off the hand. Good defense from Townsville. Here's Ledger Walker. Almost left open there for 3. Thought about putting it up. Didn't come to fruition in the end. Lovely pass from Roof. Quick hands. Samuelson really good underneath the rack there.
If you don't mind, Samuelson, she's been all class in the last couple of weeks for the Townsville Fire. Really finding her range, a tough guard from the 3-point line, but also able to get and cut, slash really well to the bucket, as we see a uncharacteristic turnover from the Southside Flyers.
Just a cross court there against the Southside Flyers, so mistake there from Cheryl Chambers' side. And coming into this game, had won 6 of their past 7 matches, so they're in just as good a touch as what Townsville are, particularly defensively. Shyla Heel, that was tough.
That was tough. A nice little inside out. Dropped her shoulder, was able to create contact. Right now, the Southside Flyers defensively, as we see Sarah Blitzarps find the bottom of the net. Offensive is the issue right now. It's defensive. 24 points they've given up, and they've done a great job this season of holding teams to under 80 points, and Cheryl Chambers and her crew won't be happy with this first term output.
And Courtney Woods will have a chance to extend Townsville's lead by 2. She drew some contact and will head to the charity stripe. I think Bishop called for the foul. The star, Courtney Woods, has been off the bench this season 4 times. She's scored 10 points or more, and importantly for her as well, there's been 6 games where she's played at least 30 minutes. Been under Shannon Seabohm for 3 seasons now, and You spoke to Megan Huswaite during the week on the WNBL show about how Shannon has really put a lot of faith in her. No matter how she's been playing, he's always been very glass half full and a big fan of hers, and it's sort of clicked for both parties this season as Courtney has thrived with the extra responsibility. Can start tonight as well. You can see a 14-second differential between game clock and shot clock. Blitzarves for Ernst. Steps back with Woods in her face. Well off target. And no shot clock left now. Fire can have the final say of the quarter. A foul is called against Conti.
That's not a bad foul to give because Ruth was off to the races here and just directing traffic, and Conti, while she got position, just got her hands in and gave her a little bit of a AFLW hug, if you will. But it allows them to set defensively for this last 8 seconds and potentially come up with a stop.
Ball in the hands of Shyla Heel, who drives hard inside. Another terrific layup is nailed by Shyla, putting the finishing touches on an outstanding statement first quarter from Shannon Seebohm's side. It's Townsville 27, Southside 14 in this top of the table Saturday night Cygnett WNBL clash between two championship fancies. Ben Waterworth with you alongside dual Olympic medalist Jenny Screen, and that was the Townsville Fire's quarter, to say the least, Screeny.
Well, it was. They came out of the blocks firing. I think it was almost a 12-2 point scoreline to open what was a great first term for the Townsville Fire, but credit to the Southside Flyers. They just started to find their way, were able to find the bottom of the net and got some good stops, but Tiana Hawkins is having her way at the moment. I thought she was sensational. Woods at times, and then Steph Reed, she can do it both ends of the floor. Abby Bishop was the shining light for the Southside Flyers in that one.
And Maddie Rochi had hit the scoreboard as well. You mentioned Bishop as well. She's got the 6 points. Hawkins has the 9 to go with a couple of rebounds as well, as we have a look at some of the key numbers so far in this game. And it's been a feature of Townsville in this winning streak as well. Their field goal percentage has lifted significantly in this 11-game winning streak, which could become 12 by night's end. Conversely, the Flyers are 0 of 9 from three-point land.
And they've taken 4 more shots. Rarely do you find yourself down by as much as they do. 13 points with that kind of scoreline, obviously, when you're shooting as poorly as they are. But that's the thing about Townsville, is they know how to take not just good shots, but great shots in the context of every possession of the floor. They know when to push, they know when to pull out and get a good set and get it through hands. And credit to the coaching staff and Shannon Seebohm. They've drilled it. They're a great chess piece team in the half court. And now what I've seen in the last couple of rounds is their ability to push the ball as well, which even just makes them harder to guard. Conversely, Southside Flyers, well, the only way is up.
Yep.
Not the greatest shooting quarter for them, and we know that they can shoot it from deep. They're third in the league, 46%, and then obviously 37% from deep. They're second in the league there, so we know what they're capable of. It just wasn't the start that they were looking for.
If you were Cheryl Chambers at that quarter-time break, would you have told your troops to put the brakes on the three-point attempts, or do you back your shooting ability?
That's a hard one, you know, because you don't want to lose confidence. But right now, where their confidence is going to come from is the defensive end. And here in this opening set, we can see they're starting the second term in a bit of a 2-3 zone. And let's see how Towns will respond.
Another three-point attempt from Roof, and this time it drops. A rare three-pointer from Michaela Roof. She had a big first quarter as well, Michaela Roof. 3 assists for the Townsville Fire big. Here's Thornton with her side down by 16, lobbing it in for Blitzarves, who banks it in off the glass. Much needed bucket for Blitzarves. She's got 4 points. It is all Townsville from a scoreboard perspective early. Great to have you with us on 9 now. Some Cygnett WNBL action on a Saturday night between the best 2 teams in the comp. McSpadden for Roof, who has 3 seconds to shoot. She's going to put up another three-point attempt. Can't get it to go. Heel, great desperation. Tapped at the advantage of McSpadden and gave Townsville a fresh 14 seconds. Allows Heel to go to work. Offensive foul, though, is called against the Fire.
Again, another offensive foul. That's the second. First one was against Atina Akuzo, as we just see here on the replay. Again, not much in it. One for the other. They both had a little bit of elbow extension, both Rochi
and McSpadden. Yeah, was called for the foul on that occasion. So the second tall off the bench. First it was Akuzo and now McSpadden. Rochi with 6 to shoot. Inside for Thornton. Can she get going for the Flyers? Doesn't get the drop that she was after. McSpadden makes amends with the defensive rebound. 8.5 to play in the second quarter. Reed showing off the handles. Goes to work on Poch and loses control. Good defense from Poch. And the Flyers having a mismatch. Poch jumping, screaming for it. But it doesn't matter because Thornton is free underneath the bucket for 2.
That was just a case of many, many options. Poch obviously forcing the turnover or the forced shot down the one end and then running the lane on the weak side. Thought better of it. Thornton was found down low.
Almost stepped out of bounds there, Shiley Heel. Going for that reverse, and she loses control. So a couple of stops in a row here for Southside, although that's been turned over. Roof will have a very easy 2-pointer coming up. Just when they had a little bit of momentum, killed there on that occasion with the turnover. Can Maddie Rochi get going? No assists, no points so far. The Opal's representative. Thornton, guarded here by Roof. Poch again screaming for it on the inside. It's the versatility that she brings. She won on 3-point territory just before. She was inside on that occasion as a foul is called against the Townsville Fire.
Spacing for the Southside Flyers is a little bit wanting at the moment. They're a little bit crowded. Everyone's trying to post up. They've got to look a bit more for the mismatches. And if I was Nadigo Poch, I'd be screaming for it too. You've got Steph Reed, point guard, and one of the smallest in the WNBL, posting you up against Poch, who's probably stands at about 6'2", with a wingspan of probably 6'6", trying to post her up. So just recognizing those mismatches and trying to stretch the floor a little bit more, and hopefully things will come the Southside's way.
Bishop kicks it out for Thornton, almost turned it over. There's an offensive foul this time. I think Amy Bishop put her hand up, say, sorry, that was my bad. And the Fire will get the ball back.
This is a good challenge for the Flyers. They, haven't been put under the pump of late. They've been playing some exceptional basketball, and this is probably the hit out that they need. Coming up against Melbourne Boomers next week in the semi-final, game 1. We know how that one's going to play out in terms of physicality, and obviously 2 Melbourne teams going at it, and every game that they've played has been intense and fun to watch. But this is probably the hit out they really need, and this is a great challenge to see what they can do, especially with this scoreline.
Oh, Courtney Woods. We've watched the young player really emerge before our eyes this season in this league. And she's coming up with a big bucket there at the right time of the season. And lots of questions are being asked of the Flyers on their home floor right now by the top of the table, Townsville Fire. Gaze on the floor. Hawkins for Woods for 3. Timeout called. Townsville up by 19 points against the second-placed Southside Flyers. What a stunning start to this game by Shannon Seabomb's side. Timeout has been called at the State Basketball Centre.
How good is Courtney Woods, if you don't mind, making it happen offensively and defensively. Steph Reed before her in terms of Shannon Seabomb and giving trust, and now Courtney Wood. She's spoken about how comfortable she feels under him, and it's showing tonight. Lauren Nicholson might be out, but it's kind of Nicholson who at the moment. It's just next person up mentality, and it's Woods right now.
This timeout is brought to you by CTM Sport. If you're considering travelling interstate with your basketball team, CTM Sport is the place to go. They've got a competitive, innovative and customised travel solution which will put your team on top, like the Townsville Fire. Visit ctmsport.com.au to learn more. Lots of questions being asked of this Southside team right now. Dropped just one of their past 7 games. But it is, at the moment, falling apart at the defensive end of the floor. They've conceded 37 points screening in 13.5 minutes.
Which is really disappointing considering they normally hold teams to 77.8 points per game. It's league leaders in that category. That's something that they've worked on. If I was to be critical about anything and the Southside Flyers lineups in the last couple of years, it would be their defense, their team defense in the quarter court, their full court defense. And credit to them, they've been great this year. That first quarter just wasn't meant to be, and it's continued on in this second term as well. But offensively, getting great shots or better shots can only help their defensive transition as well.
Thornton yet to really fire either. Roxy almost travelled. Blitzavs was underneath the rack there and missed the two. Kind of sums up the first quarter and a half for the Southside Flyers. Ernst turned it over, was hoping for Cole, only found Reed. And then Reed with a rare sloppy pass there, straight to Thornton. An opportunity here for Cole and the Flyers. Cole lost control, but got it to Rochi, who hit a much needed triple.
Well, I think both teams right now are trying to up each other in terms of the turnover category. Southside Flyers, I think, with 8 to their name, and Townsville with 7. Uncharacteristic of both teams, they're not pretty spectacular with the ball, as that play was there. Steph Reed just turning on the Jets, and too easy to the bucket there against Rochi.
Hard to think of a better player in the league. Hard to think of certainly a better guard in the league at the moment who is as good at driving from outside the perimeter to the key as Steph Reed at the moment. As Ernst hits the three, she turned at the referee hoping for a forward-point play opportunity. Didn't come, but it's still much needed.
Talk about Steph Reed being able to be the best person in the league in terms of getting her feet in the paint. Carly Mitrovic has made a career of shooting it from deep.
Here she goes, Reed again, lost control this time, kicked it out. And unfortunately for the Fire, Wood stepped out of bounds.
Saved by the whistle there for the Southside Flyers on that closeout. Beautiful pass there from Steph Reed out of the pocket. Courtney Woods just losing where she was ever so slightly, but a sigh of relief for the Southside Flyers to get the stop there.
She takes a seat, Courtney Woods, with a team-high 11 points and 4 steals to her name. Big game to date.
Absolutely, and considering she averages the 6 points per season, she's well above those. We haven't even reached halftime.
She had a big game against Bendigo a couple of nights ago. 16 points, 58% from the field, continuing her stunning second half surge like her team. Rochi, beautiful pass. That was brilliant to Thornton. Didn't quite get the 2 to drop, but she will head to the line and shoot a couple.
That was a beautiful little backdoor. Rochi, just a little bit of step through. McSpadden just lost sight of Thornton ever so slightly, but that's all the gap that this young lady needs in terms of breathing room to get a shot. She's having a great season, 16.9 points per game, 7.4 rebounds, and a potential candidate. I think she'd be probably top 4, maybe top 3 for MVP this season, considering the winning her team is doing. But great pickup this season for the Southside Flyers.
Yeah, ranked 6th in the WNBL for points per game and going at 47% clip from the field. Kayla Thornton, an uber consistent performer for the Flyers this season. So they've just been able to reduce the margin in recent times, the Flyers, from 19 down to 13. Heel for Samuelson, for Hawkins, guarded here by Blitzers, but she's too strong, too powerful, but it's an offensive foul, though, called against the import. Here's a look on replay.
Let's have a look. Sarah Blitzup did a great job to wall up. She got hit once and then twice, and then thought, I'd better fall over. So the referees called the foul there, and credit to her, that was a great bang down low by 2 strong and dominant players in our game.
And they capitalise the offensive end of the floor. Thornton gets the 2 to go and will head to the line for an extra.
And that's probably an area that Southside Flyers can capitalise in at the moment, is getting Satina Akuzo potentially into some pick and roll action. That really wasn't a screen there. It was a bit of a ghost card, but Kayla put her head down there. And we know Satina's still finding her feet. She's coming back from injury and with that ankle that she did in round 2 earlier on this season. But she's playing some good basketball at the minute and contributing quite well off the bench for the Townsville Fire.
I was going to say, Screening, I take that back. The 2 didn't drop. She's now shooting 2 free throws. Nails the second one, Kayla Thornton. So just starting to get a little bit more involved in the contest as the Flyers reduce the Fire's advantage to 11. Hawkins thought about Samuelson, but Blitzars is not letting her anywhere near the ball. Rochi steals it away from Heel, who had no idea Rochi was behind her, and reverses it in for 2. And the Flyers are back within 10, and Maddie is pumped.
And they're the plays that make the difference, right? The blue-collar work, the momentum can swing. You can see here, Charlotte just taking the foot off the gas, thinking that was just going to be, I don't know what. She should have grabbed the ball, forced the turnover for them. But Rochi put the Jets on, got the ball. And just like that, we've closed the deficit from a 15 to under 10.
So, as we have a timeout here, let's have a look at the candidates screening for the Betty Watson Breakout Player of the Year award. The award named in honour of the great Betty Watson, Betty Watson, who was a pioneer for women's basketball in Australia. A pretty handy group of players there. A lot of them part of the extended Opals squad, including a player we've already talked about a lot in Nadia Poch, who's hard to believe screening, but she is only 18 years of age.
I know. She comes from a big family, one of 7, and her mum does a fabulous job. She's got a sister who's in the under-18 Victorian Metro State team as well, and they're a great family, and she's got a career ahead of her, as does Jade Melbourne. Chloe Bibby's had a standout season this year. Borlays from South Australia. Alicia Froling, we know that name is synonymous with basketball here in this country. For me, when I look at that, I don't really understand the actual rules of that award. I feel like anyone can get it. But for me, Jade Melbourne just would be up there in terms of what that award stands for.
Akuzo goes hard inside and gets for 2, and she will head to the line for a 3-point play. For clarity screening, the Breakout Player of the Year is an award for any player that is
aged 8, anyone. Right.
An outstanding breakout season, providing a far improved overall performance than in previous years.
Interesting, Christy Wallace doesn't make that list, considering where she was with Southside Flyers last year compared to her numbers this year. But either way, I'm probably going to say my money's with Jade Melbourne or Izzy Borlays.
And now an opportunity for a 3-point play to turn into a 5-point play for Akuzo. Almost came off there. The Flyers regain control in their backcourt. Just over 3 minutes left in this second quarter. Thornton, deep 2, drops.
Smooth. Nice little square up. A little bit of a jab, created a bit of space. Tiana Hawkins was there, but just not there enough. And Thornton was able to find the bottom of the net.
20th time this season, Kayla Thornton crosses the 10-point mark in a game. Incredible consistency. Heel and Akuzo combining here. 9 to shoot for Shyla. Trying to get this pick and roll action here with Akuzo, and it comes off. Akuzo lays it in for 2.
I'm loving the authority and confidence that Zatina is playing with at the moment. She's being a presence down low, setting some good screens, and wanting to finish. We haven't seen that, well, I haven't seen that enough from Zatina, and I believe she's really capable and potentially a future green and gold player, and it's nice to see her find that now, especially when we start semi-finals next week.
Ernst again, forced to put up a rush shot. Big collision there between Samuelson and Rochi. Rochi a little worse for wear. Samuelson then in a separate contest hit the floor as the ref blew the whistle, and it'll be a Southside ball.
Just 2 players, eyes on the ball, going hard at it. Rochi, probably put your money on her. She's a tough cookie. Is this young woman at the helm of the Southside Flyers.
So the Fire, the 12-point advantage. And a good little fight back from Southside. Oh, almost the pass from Roof to Samuelson came off. Idea was right. Just a little too much juice on the ball. That was a clever little play. 3 assists so far for Roof and 3 for Steph Reed for the Fire. Poch back on the floor. Blitzards. Cole goes to work here on Heel. Kicking it out for Rochi. Ledger Walker was right there. Rochi, though, trying to float it in the lane. Didn't quite go. Good defensive set there from Townsville. Heel and Ledger Walker getting some good minutes here off the bench. Lobbing it in here was here for Roof. Foul is called against the Southside Flyers, their 4th in this quarter.
Just like that, the game has started to slow down a bit. I think the intensity and physicality from the Southside Flyers has just creeped up a little bit. There's been a few more turnovers this quarter from Townsville.
His heel, able to get rid of Rochi, and then inside for Roof. A big mismatch here, but Rochi did really well to knock it away from Roof. And just the 3.8 seconds left now for Townsville to shoot.
Might be a mismatch in height, but it's definitely not a mismatch in heart from Miss Maddie Rochi. She'll take it to anyone. It doesn't matter if it's Goliath.
Timeout called with 1 minute and 13 seconds remaining on the clock in this second quarter. 44-32 lead for Townsville.
And it's a great response from the Southside Flyers. It could have very much headed towards a 20, 25-point blowout to end this second term, but credit to them and the caliber of team they are. They've bounced back and they've rallied and they've been able to close this deficit and hopefully continue with momentum heading into the second half.
You can see the goats just to the right as well, Lauren Jackson. It would be mightily difficult for Lauren. We know how much of a fierce competitor she is on the floor. To be watching her team, this is the kind of game that she'd love to be out there for. A final, essentially a final before a final. First v second, big crowd at the State Basketball Centre. Gosh, she'd love to be out there.
Oh, absolutely she would. I'm sure it's breaking her heart that she's not, but she's definitely supporting her girls there on the sideline and doing all that she can. The reason why she'd want to be out there is because she just want to put that level of fear and doubt in the opposition, just to remind them, if you're going to come up against us in the grand final, you better be ready. And right now, the Fire are definitely in that category, showing everyone you better be ready to play us, because they are all playing exceptionally well at the moment.
What can they do off this quick bounce pass? Much to start with. Walker was trying to find Hawkins. Hawkins lit up the first quarter with 9 points to no points so far in this second quarter. Courtney Woods is taken over. Take two. Ledger Walker for Samuelson, but there's an offensive foul called off the ball. May have been against Michaela Roof, who's having words with the referee now. It was Samuelson who was left wide open as well for the three. Here's a look on replay. Poch.
Have to agree with the call there on the referees. Just a moving screen. Roof trying to make it hard for Nadio, but just moving a little bit too much, and the right call there.
Rochi kicks it out for Blitzarves, who puts up the three, falling well short with Ledger Walker in her face. Right off there for Townsville. And Blitzarves doing the guarding on Hawkins. Samuelson had very little room to move outside the perimeter tonight. But what handles from Carly? Oh, she couldn't get it to drop, but an easy rebound for Ledger Walker, and she gets that to ultimately Samuelson. Big smile from the import as well as she heads back to the defensive end of the floor. I mean, she done good there. 10-second differential between the two clocks. Cole screaming for it. But the pass wasn't great from Poch. Cole equal to the task though, and Poch with a left-hand attempt is off target. But will be another foul. It's Roof.
Poch will go to the foul line here with Townsville being in the bonus. It's just effort plays right there. Missed the first one, followed up. Could have been distracted with the miss, but continued and was able to get herself to the foul line.
What a season she's had. As we mentioned, she's a contender for the Betty Watson Breakout Player of the Year. 3 times she's had the 10 or more points, including 16 against the Caps. What an opportunity would have been for her as well this season. The 18-year-old to play alongside the GOAT and Lauren Jackson. She misses with that second attempt, and Townsville can have the final say of the quarter. Ledger Walker, Akuzo.
Ledger Walker trying to free up Samuelson. Has to put up the shot herself. Bank not open. Potch. Did she get it off in time? Doesn't matter in the end. That's a very strong first half from the Townsville Fire, albeit a much better showing from Southside in the second quarter. It was 19 points apiece for the two teams in the second quarter, but Townsville's 27-14 opening term means they hold quite a handy advantage, 46-33. Jenny Screen at the half as we have a look at some of the first half highlights.
Well, it was all Townsville Fire in that opening term. Did what they wanted, come what may, if you will, at both ends of the floor. They really set the tone defensively and then were able to find the bottom of the net through multiple players and really led open in that first quarter by Hawkins and Woods. But credit to the Southside Flyers. They may be down by 13 points, but that second term, they showed what they're made of and why they are a championship contender. They got the ball through hands, took better shots, and then defensively, they just ramped it up a little bit more. But we're in for a second half. If they can just both look after the ball a little bit better, it's going to be an interesting third term.
We'll have third quarter action coming up in just a few moments, but we'll take a short break here on 9 Now with the Fire leading 46-33 over the Southside Flyers.
Conti behind the back. Ernst, ball movement to Thornton for the highlight. Oh, yes! Bishop from long range. That hurts. That hurts. At the top of the arc. Mitchell can't finish. Thornton can. Off to Potch, wide open. Flyers are rolling here. They're up by 8.
The Key Centre turns pink tonight for the Sydney Flames' inaugural pink game, inspired by the journey of Tiana Mungakahia, raising much-needed funds for breast cancer nurses.
Rolling for 3. Another $550 in Graf Foundation Bank. We'd love to see it.
What a momentous win for the Sydney Flames, coming up trumps in their inaugural pink round game.
As Mia Murray puts it up and knocks it down. Great rebound from Mia Murray. Leilani Mitchell for Murray, baseline. Mia Murray knocks the triple down. Ryan loves this situation. Puts up the 3 and gets it to go. Drives into the lane and lays it in. And Atwell, cherry on top stuff. A big opportunity taken by the Perth Lynx. And finals just got a little closer.
The Flames, 1.5 seconds away from one of the upsets of the season. Woods to inbound. They go for Hawkins. Oh my God! Tiana Hawkins comes up clutch. She has ensured the Fire have won 10 in a row.
It's the biggest WNBL season yet, and superstar Lauren Jackson returns. Turn it up. Don't miss a block, basket, or game winner.
Just not steal the win.
WNBL, live on 9 Now.
Do not underestimate the power of a good blind. Take this exhausted couch. Now it stands before you. Magnifique. Even this cocktail of dead skin is gracefully waltzing. Da 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 da. DIY blinds. Change the ugly.
I'm so ready for love.
Australia's biggest social experiment.
Oh my God.
It's not easy to meet girls when you're like 900 k's from civilization.
Is on 9 Now.
I look like the girl next door. I'm actually a little freak in the sheets.
Stream every new episode of The Love Phenomenon. Completely free, whenever you want.
Let's get married.
New Married at First Sight on 9 Now.
Gossip Girl here, your one and only source into the scandalous lives of Manhattan's elite. XOXO Gossip Girl.
Get your summer streaming on 9 now.
So baby, in 90 days, we're gonna be husband and wife.
I was with her for 5 days, and then I proposed to her.
She's so eager to be in love, she lets red flags just go.
People say 19-year-old, she's just using you. Maybe she could be.
90 Day Fiancé. Get your summer streaming on 9 now.
Tune in to the WNBL show, dropping weekly during the season and released across your favourite podcast network every Tuesday. Or watch the full vodcast at WNBL.basketbol.
League MVP. I'll never get used to that, by the way. That's a bit strange.
We can always come to you for a great inspirational quote.
Join me, Megan Hustray, and my team of co-hosts, stars across the league, as we talk about everything that's happening on and off the court in the Cygnett WNBL.
This year, Australia wants
more. Everything. That's way more than I thought.
more.
Celebrities, snogging with the stars.
More.
Exciting.
Shocking. Unhinged.
Thrilling. I don't mean dramatic, but should we call an ambulance? More Sophie Monk.
New The 100.
High five.
What is happening?
The new season of The 100. Stream the latest episodes on 9 now.
Think about the lives wrecked. This man isn't a forensic pathologist. He's a charlatan.
One of Australia's most senior politicians on the payroll of the mafia. It's the worst question in the world to ask somebody. Do you think your mother killed your father?
Conspiracies, murders, cover-ups. Australia's most astonishing cases go under investigation. Stream the latest episodes on 9 now.
He wants us to pick up where he left off. You know, saving people, hunting things, family business.
Stream complete seasons of Supernatural on 9 now.
When you look at the elite levels of basketball, there's a lot of pathways at that level. But when you talk about community grassroots, it's a lot harder, I think, to sort of break through that barrier. But I think this platform is trying to sort of bridge that gap.
This platform really starts to drive pathways and opportunities, particularly around the pillars of coaching, officiating and administrating.
That's why this platform is important to me.
The following statistics can be confronting. Behind every number is a human life.
9 Australians die every day by suicide.
It is the leading cause of death for Australians aged 15 to 44. Suicide has a devastating impact on families, friends, and whole communities.
This March will mark 60 years since Lifeline began providing hope.
They are a national charity providing all Australians with 24-hour crisis support.
The Southside Flyers are proud to be supporting Lifeline this Saturday, March 4th.
We will be donating $100 for every assist the team makes.
The definition of assist is an act of giving help.
This is the foundation of what Lifeline does every day. We invite you to join us in raising money and awareness this Saturday for Lifeline.
Every 30 seconds, a person in Australia reaches out to Lifeline for help.
Your donations mean that Lifeline can answer more calls to ensure that no person is left in their darkest moments alone.
From the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for the continued support of this very special round.
If you or someone you know needs crisis support, please call Lifeline on 13 11 14. Text 0477 13 11 14 or visit their website.
Superbly done by the Southside Flyers. Wonderful to see the entire roster getting behind Lifeline round. A round that was initiated by, as we saw towards the end of that package just then, Screeny, Jenna O'Hay, the former Opals captain, who has really left a tremendous on-court but then off-court legacy as well, with her willingness and ability to raise awareness around the importance of mental health and the fact that help is always available no matter what. I think we saw something terrific last year, Screeny, when Jenna herself took some time away from the game in her final WNBL season, and then Amy Rocci stepped up to still drive the Lifeline round for what was then a third season as well. It is just tremendous work that the Southside Flyers are doing, and as we saw just beforehand, $100 for every assist tonight from the Southside Flyers will be going to the charity Lifeline, which continues to do great work. Townsville then matching that, and then the Flames are also adding $1,000 on top of that.
Really good, and a credit to Amy and the Southside Flyers continuing that since Jenna has retired. And it's nice to see Danny Minogue and Billy Slater sitting there in the crowd watching this game tonight. So pretty caliber types of people there, but in terms of and reflecting on what Jenna has done and what Southside Flyers continue to do, and what we as basketballers and the platform that we have to raise awareness. We saw Alex Bunton in the game before with Canberra Capitals in the domestic violence and raising awareness there. It's great that we bring awareness to these issues because they are important, they are prevalent, and it's important that we speak about them.
As mentioned before, if you or anyone you know needs help, contact Lifeline on 131114. So the third quarter about to get underway here at the State Basketball Centre. It's the 5:46 leading Southside 33. Top of the table WNBL clash between these two sides, and an offensive foul immediately called against Kayla Thornton of Southside.
Well, that is the 5th offensive foul called tonight. So if we know one call that the referees are hot on at the moment, maybe this is a prelude to potentially the way they're going to call the games for the semi-final and grand finals, then we've got to make some adjustments, whether we believe them to be right or wrong. It seems like it is a hot topic or a hot focus for these guys tonight. So hopefully both Townsville Fire and Southside, who have both been on the end of receiving end on a couple of them, make some adjustment.
Here's Reed, gets her way into the key, and then Abby Bishop thought she'd blocked it, but Bishop has given away the foul. And Abby Bishop had a terrific start to the game, 6 points in the first quarter.
She did in about 3 minutes and passage of play. Again, we talk about players stepping up and Cheryl being able to go to a bench, and that's when I talk about the depth. I think the loss of Lauren, Abby slots into that position really well. The one that I think that they're going to miss a lot is Amy Rocci. Her leadership, her experience, her calmness. While she won't give you big numbers in different categories, she brings you that leadership, which I think that they may miss in the next couple of games coming forward. Doesn't mean they won't be able to compete. But we talk about the absence of Lauren Jackson, but I think Rocci is also an equal one in terms of what she can bring her team.
Bishop for Cole, who thought about the three, drew the defense there of Samuelson and missed the mid-range two, just not dropping for the Flyers right throughout the night. Great to have your company wherever you're watching 9 Now tonight. This top of the table clash is Woods trying to kick it out towards Samuelson. Thornton was aware.
And that's more of the defense that we've become to know this season, the Southside Flyers, protecting the paint, forcing below the level of the baseline there. As we say, Sarah Blitzov does that. She's strong enough not to give up the foul, but then we see Thornton on the rotation on the weak side, able to come up with the deflection.
Roof for Woods. Now Reed. Hawkins almost wasn't expecting it, but with 1 second to shoot, gets it up and gets it to drop. A 16-point lead for Townsville. At one end, Cole's mid-range attempt didn't go. Hawkins, with the shot clock buzzer beater there, able to get it to drop. Thornton underneath the rack will head to the line.
Abby Bishop probably had a 3 there and looked at it. Definitely was wide open, but thought better of it. With Kayla Thornton down low.
The other thing to note as well, that Bishop, who was called for the foul at the other end of the floor a few minutes ago, she's now up to 3 personal fouls for the Southside Flyers, early stages of the third quarter. Kicks off next week, Cygnett WNBL finals. Flyers will be taking on the Boomers. Derby matchup in the semi-finals, and these Townsville Fire girls will be taking on the Perth Lynx. Coming off another big performance against the Caps a few hours ago. Woods had it knocked away from her, and then it came off her foot as well, and it's deemed out of bounds off the Fire.
It's crazy to think statistically Townsville have 13 turnovers for the game compared to Southside Flyers 9, have taken 4 less shots, but yet find themselves up by 14 points.
Bishop catches and was fouled by Samuelson.
And you can see down low Abby Bishop fighting for the position against the undersized Samuelson, and both players wanting the one object that's only available to him, and that's the basketball, and Abby Bishop getting the foul called there for her.
Rochi for Blitzarves, who's threatened to really take the game apart for Southsiders. Cole has 4 to shoot. That's a tough turnaround, and it doesn't drop. And Bishop couldn't grasp the offensive board either. Reed v. Rochi. Tantalising matchup, that one. Samuelson stepped out of bounds. Just hasn't quite been Carly Samuelson's night, although just had the 6 points, but yet to attempt a 3-pointer, which we know is her one wood. Rochi for Thornton. Rochi's got a good look here for 3 and knocks it. So the Flyers reduce it back to 11 points, continuing to chip away at this deficit. Samuelson trying to drive hard inside there. Blitzarves called for the foul.
And this is a way to respond. I'm sure Cheryl Chambers at the top of this third quarter, there was probably some home truths spoken about at half times of areas they could clean up on the defensive end. And so far in the opening couple of minutes of this third term, they'd have to be pretty happy there. I feel like momentum's with them. They're playing some locked-in defense now and just making everything go a little bit harder for the Townsville Fire.
Heel, oh my word. She's already made 2 really tough layups. She almost had a third. She will go to the line and shoot 2 free throws.
We thought Rochi had her there. Just came up out of stance on that first contact, was able to stay with her and probably just bailed her out at the end there. Charlotte Hill was heading out of court away from the rim.
7th game for the Townsville Fire after playing 13 for the Sydney Flames earlier this season. Charlotte Hill, game number 96 in the WNBL for the 21-year-old. I feel like she's really having a huge impact for the Fire at the right time of the season, coming off the bench screening.
It's called lucky. Shannon Seabaum's very, very lucky to pick her up at the latter stages of this season.
Particularly with Lauren Nicholson and Steph Reed both sort of game to game with their injuries at the moment. Timely acquisition for the Townsville Fire. Here's Rochi kicking it out for Bishop, but this time puts up the 3 and knocks it down. She's got a lovely 3-point stroke, Abby Bishop.
And that's what she didn't do on the last play when she had the ball given to her in the exact same position. She was selfless and gave it up to Kayla Thornton, but that time nice to see her lock and loaded and find the bottom of the net.
Hawkins trying Trying to drive along the baseline. Jump ball is called. Good defense from the Flyers. Possession arrow is with Townsville. Effortless shooting stroke Abby Bishop has. Heel for Samuelson. Speaking of effortless three-point shots, Carly, her first attempt from deep tonight is successful.
I must have heard you, Ben Waterworth, saying that she hadn't hit a three tonight. She goes, I'll show you.
That was terrific from Samuelson. Blitzar's underneath, couldn't get it to go, and Samuelson brings down her 6th board tonight. And then, oh, she's feeling it. Couldn't hit the 2nd on the trot, though. Here's Cole. Inside for Thornton. Guarded here by Ruth. It's a tough shot. And Kayla Thornton will again head to the free throw line.
She's bound to draw quite a few fouls tonight from down in the low block, battling with Ruth, Hawkins at times. Just being able to use her skill set to get herself to the foul line.
She's 6 of 6 so far tonight from the free throw line. Kayla Thornton came into the game an 83% free throw shooter, making the most of her opportunities tonight. Make it 8 from 8. Shannon Seabohm, can't believe it. He was having close words there with the referee. I think a tech foul may have been called there.
Well, that's interesting because Shannon, he's not the type of coach that I would think would get many tech fouls. If indeed he has, I'm yet to work out. No, he hasn't. So
no,
maybe
okay.
potentially a coach warning,
right.
A bench warning perhaps, but I'd be shocked if he would. You'd have to push Shannon to the brink in order for him to get a technical foul.
Yeah, particularly with his side up by 10 points halfway through the 3rd. He's got a terrific roster to work with, Shannon Seabohm, and a sense kind of amongst the industry at the moment as we have a look at that call and replay. The sense amongst the industry at the moment is Seabohm is coaching as good as he ever has. His coaching style really does suit this playing roster. Carly Samuelson has been integral as well for the Fire. She's one of the 2 imports that have come in and not only made an impact on the scoreboard and contributed to victories, but really bought into what the Fire's all about the culture as well, which you don't often get with imports, as we've seen over decades in the WNBL screening. As we see the GOAT on screen, they've picked 2 beauties, the Townsville Fire, this season.
That's half the trouble as a coach, is finding the right fit. And you know, you want the stars, but you also want good locker room people, and it seems like Samuelson is. We know that she comes from the UK. She's played with Great Britain, went to Stanford University, so she's played some great international basketball, spent a few years in the WNBA as well with multiple teams. We know what she's capable of, and I feel like at times I see Courtney Woods and I also think it's Samuelson. Like the hair and everything, they play quite similar at times, and when one is having a bit of a quiet night, the other one steps up and vice versa. But Woods has started the game well and continues her great performance here in the 3rd.
She's got 13 points, Courtney Woods. She's 5 of 6 from the field tonight, including 2 of 2 from three-point land. Here's Potch, guarded by Woods, with 5 to play in the 3rd. Heel almost came up with the steal, instead was called for the foul.
And this is not a bad position for the Flyers to be in. They're kind of slowing the game down a little bit more. It's on their terms, even though they're down on the scoreboard. But now they've forced Townsville here into their 4th team foul. One more, they're in the bonus. And that just helps them get to the foul line every single time they get fouled and close down this scoreline just a little bit more.
Cole hoping for a pick and roll there with Ernst. Didn't quite come off. Rucci for 3. And then almost rebounded there by Akuzo, but just fumbled and allowed a fresh 14 seconds here for Southside. Screen from Ernst for Thornton. 3 to shoot here for Thornton. Inside for Cole. Has to put it up. and can't get the buzzer beater to go, and Akuzo this time grasps it off the defensive board. Here's Samuelson, who lifted her output. A little worse to wear after that contact. No harm done. Reed for Akuzo. Terrific dish from Steph Reed and the finish from Z.
And that's what I love about Steph Reed's game and what she's got better at over the last couple of years is given she's so small, her ability to be in the paint and keep her dribble alive to find the next player and put the defense under a little bit of a lull into false sense of security is sensational, as Maddie Rocci also can do it down the other end for her team as she weaves her way in this double screen action. Tiana Hawkins coming up with the foul there as Rocci is able to get her on her back.
What a season from Maddie Rocci. We've talked about consistency from players throughout the season. Screening throughout the night. She's had at least 9 points in 19 of her 20 games this season. That free throw is off target though, so it's still that 14-point lead for Townsville. First v second in the WNBL tonight as Akuzo was trying to find Hawkins on the inside, and they were about to gobble it up and set off for a fast break Southside, but they've been called for a foul.
You see that there on the replay. Hawkins seems
offensive foul, sorry.
It was.
Yes.
Unfortunate, frustrated because she hasn't been able to see much of the court because of foul trouble and the like, but
Kuzo brings down the defensive rebound. Kuzo up to 7 points for her side. Here's Reed. Lovely pass inside for Akuzo, who was hoping he would be in the corner. Fortunately, she was 10 metres to the right.
And that's where I think Zatina, when we see the next level of Zatina and once she gets fit and healthy and those type of things, is that's just an alley-oop.
Yep.
That isn't a kick out. That's just her showing her athleticism and putting it on the rim.
Good to see her playing with confidence, though, after a couple of years riddled by injury. Thornton for Potch. Good look here for three. Young gun can't hit it. And the Fire racking up some stops now. 22 rebounds to 12 in favour of Townsville. Heel kicks it out for Reed. Have the game at their tempo at the moment, Townsville. Here's Roof with 4 to shoot. Woods is charging towards the rack before it was knocked away from her by Rocci, who thinks it's a Southside ball.
Both teams are just a little bit worse for wear on the offensive end at the moment. No consistency, no continuity. Everyone's playing high and not being really of a presence. It's all a little bit hard for both teams right now at the offensive end.
Rocci definitely tapped that one back out of bounds. 3 assists and 10 points for Maddie Rocci so far tonight. Both teams in the bonus with just under 2.5 left in this third quarter. Needs to be a catch and shoot here. And it will be a Southside Flyers ball. What can they do in this next 2.5 minutes? They've been on the back foot since quarter time. The 27-14 opening stanza from the Townsville Fire. Potch, lovely pass for Rocci inside, and had a really good look there for 2. And gives away the foul after missing.
A beautiful fake, nice little curl cut action there. Probably faked herself out, didn't realise she'd be so open. Missed a bunny, as we can see here. Beautiful fake, got Roof out of it. Just gave up an errant foul, which now sends Townsville to the line, given they're in bonus. Frustration all round for the Southside Flyers at the moment, shooting at 38% overall are the Southside Flyers. For the season, they normally average the 46%, so not their night yet from the field.
So Michaela Roof and the Townsville Fire with a 61-45 lead. Flyers have been able to slow Townsville down at the offensive end of the floor, but just can't quite make it count at their own offensive end of the floor. Reed hoping for a Kuzo. Roof pulls the trigger on another triple.
2 on the night for Michaela Roof. I really like her as a pickup. I think she's been a great addition for the Townsville Fire. She, you know, her numbers are solid. They're nothing extraordinary, but they're solid every single night of the week. She averages a touch under 10 points and a touch under 10 rebounds, almost a double-double for the season. And that's what you want from your center, potentially your backup center if Zatina hadn't gone down at the start of the season. She's stepped up into that role and taken it with both hands, and I think she's been a great piece to the puzzle that is Shannon Seebohm's Townsville Fire.
Yeah, in the top 10 in the WNBL for rebounds per game, had 7 double-doubles this season. She's pushing an 8th tonight with 10 points and 7 boards. Conti kicks it out for Poch with 7 to shoot, and then Poch threw it away. Very frustrated after the pass as well. Would you be concerned as a Southside fan in any way, Scree? I know it's the real stuff is, in terms of finals, is a week away still.
Well, look, it's not the game you want.
No.
It's not the game you want going into facing your nemesis and your derby rival in Melbourne Boomers, because you want things humming, you want things flowing, you want to be clicking, and right now they're not clicking. They're not clicking offensively, and they're definitely not clicking defensively, having given up 64 points already in this first 3 quarters.
Woods called for the foul. That's her first personal. 4 Townsville players with 3 fouls to their name. Hawkins, Roof, Samuelson and Heel, who are all off the floor at the moment. Bishop steps inside. Can't get the 2 to go, but will head to the line to shoot a couple.
I will add to that, though, but whilst they're not clicking, let's not take anything away from the Fire. A team that's got 19 turnovers, and they're up by almost 20 points on the night. Just shows you, I think, what they can do on the defensive end. The way they're playing, the synergy that they have defensively, the scout they have on pick and rolls, on their rotations, they're trapping down low. It is elite right now.
Any free throws for Abby Bishop just before the 3/4 time buzzer. Reed gets a screen from Akuzo and works her way into the lane and banks it in for a tough 2. The class of Steph Reed on display as Poch kicks up the tempo, trying to show off her talent at the other end of the floor. Fresh 14 coming up for Southside, and it's a 5-second differential between the clocks. Conti steps back, can't get it to go. Poch raising up. That's going to be a jump basketball.
Well, you can't question the endeavour of the youngster Nadia Poch, the up-and-comer. She might be frustrated, but she's persistent right now. She's on everything, flying in from the weak side, trying to get rebounds, trying to get possession plays. It may not be clicking, but they're the little things that you can focus on as a player, as a team member, to try and turn the tables for your team and get momentum.
So possession arrow with Southside. Down by 19 points. Just before the 3/4 time buzzer here. 6.5 left. Well, Cheryl Chambers aside just to try and make a bit more of an indent in this Townsville lead. Shannon Seebohm will be pretty satisfied with what he's seen from his team so far. Bishop for Blitzards. Back for Bishop. Lovely team chemistry there from the 2 Southside Guns. And a nice little confidence booster for Southside just before the 3/4 time buzzer. But Townsville do hold a very handy 17-point lead at the final change. Ben Waterworth with you alongside dual Olympic medalist and world champion and former Adelaide Lightning star Jenny Screen. Screeny, they threatened at times the Southside Flyers in that quarter to really make a bit of a comeback and an indent on that Townsville lead, but the fighters continue to come up with answers.
It was just a grind, wasn't it, that quarter? Southside tried to turn up the physicality and the defensive prowess that we've come to know from them this season. But credit to Townsville, they've just been able to find ways of keeping the scoreboard tick over. They held Southside Flyers to 16 points that quarter while putting on and draining 26 of their own. So it's been Townsville's way. It doesn't matter what Southside Flyers have tried to do defensively or offensively. Townsville Fire have just been able to have the upper hand. But when you're shooting at the clip that the Southside Flyers are, 35 and 24% respectively from two and from deep, it's always going to be a hard night at the office. Townsville Fire might have those 19 turnovers, but the clip they're shooting at, the other areas that they're doing well in, the rebound count, the points in the paint, it's always going to lead to potentially
72%. Haven't seen a field goal percentage like that at three-quarter time in too many WNBL games so far this season. So almost set for a start here in the fourth quarter between these two sides. And just before we get underway,
I tell you what though, Southside Fires are pulling in the crowd. You've got Boomer, former Boomer and NBL Championship winner Adam Gibson sitting there. Yep. You've got Danny Minogue, you've got Billy Slater, one of the greats of NRL. Pretty exciting crowd.
Yeah, it's been a sensational game so far for the fans, both at the venue and at home as well. Make sure your Cygnett charging products are ready to power up your devices because you don't want to miss a second of the action. You can check out the extensive range of Aussie-designed digital accessories right for you at cygnett.com. There's the GOAT. Had some pretty extensive surgery in recent weeks to fix up a foot and Achilles issue. While you're at it, may as well get both done. As Woods hoping to continue a strong game. Bishop able to rip it away, but lost control, so it'll still be a fireball with 10 on the shot clock. Been impressive tonight, though, Abby Bishop.
She has the 13 points. I think at times she's been really good defensively well, and that was just a display there in that one-on-one contest against Woods.
Roof. Reed. 5 to shoot here. The Opal's young gun trying to find a way through, reversing. And then Roof comes up with the offensive rebound and can't get it to go. And Bishop wraps her arms around that basketball. They've been dominant off the glass tonight, the Townsville Fire. Poch and Conti starting on the floor in this fourth quarter. Blitzers from deep. Easy rebound for Tiana Hawkins. Board number 4 for her to go with 11 points. Hawkins trying to bring Samuelson into the game here and screaming for it in the post. One-on-one here with Blitzarves. And falling short on the mid-range attempt. Bishop from way downtown. Thornton couldn't grasp the rebound, but Potts showing great determination. Kept it alive for Conti. And the Southside Flyers just hasn't been their night from three-point territory.
And perhaps they're just shaking it all off now. Get it out of your system. It's the one game where it's just not going your way offensively or defensively, and make sure nothing is left behind when you come up against arch rival Melbourne Boomers next Wednesday night.
Can't wait for the Cygnett WNBL final series as Monique Conti is called for her second personal foul. That will send Steph Reed to the line. She can become the 5th Fire player into double figures tonight by hitting at least one of these upcoming free throws. Steph Reed, first in the comp for assists this season, second for steals. young star she is. She's only 26 years of age. Big bright future ahead for Steph Reed. Hits the second, much to the disappointment of the vociferous Southside home fans. Matters little though, because a turnover is created by Townsville. Reed gets the dish, Samuelson gets the 2, and it's a 20-point lead. Conti kicks it out for Blitzarves in the corner. Doesn't make any connection with the rim or with the backboard there. And this is where from a Southside perspective, you don't want it to fall apart. As Reed goes to work for Samuelson. Inside for Hawkins, guarded by Poch. Hawkins too good.
And that's what I love about Hawkins' game. She has not only the ability to pick and pop and stretch you in that 4 spot and take you off the dribble with her athleticism, she can screen in a pick and roll action and dive hard at the rim and use her length and her size against you and go back to bucket.
Conti lobbing it in for Blitzarves, who turns around. Can't get that one to drop, but a strong rebound from Kayla Thornton. Allows Monique Conti to go to work here. In the end, uncontested. She gets that mid-range 2 to find the bottom of the net.
First points of the night for Conti. We know she was a mid-season signing and not a bad one as well to come off the bench. Obviously, has played at Australia junior level. We know that she's the reigning AFLW MVP, if you will.
Yep.
As well. So fit would be an understatement. Monique Conti, but a nice luxury that Cheryl Chambers has looking down her bench when she needs to get some rotations in.
Samuelson for Reed. 20-point lead for Townsville. Reed, almost that trademark kick-out pass towards Samuelson. As the Flyers are called for their second team foul in this 4th quarter.
You just have here, Samuelson just caught the ball in the air at the right time, was already running downhill before she even caught it, and caught Maddie Rocci out of position. Been a quiet night by her standards. Samuelson, even though she's probably going to end up with her season average, it's been a quiet 13 points for now.
She's such an efficient player, though, for the Townsville Fire. She's not a player that just jacks it up whenever she wants, willy-nilly. It's takes the right shots, Carly Samuelson. I think that's why she's been so valuable for the Townsville Fire, because she's prepared to be selfless as well, which is what you want in an import.
And that's the best thing about her as well, is that she brings other things. She's just not a scorer or that scoring mentality. She's got 7 boards to her name here tonight as well. She only averages the 2.6, so she knows her productivity might be down a little bit in the shooting category tonight, so I'll make it up in other areas, and she's done that in rebounding.
Cole from the baseline hits the mid-range 2. Townsville go to work at the offensive end of the floor. This team continuing its remarkable second half surge in this regular season. Rocci perplexed by the call. That's the 4th personal foul against Maddie Rocci. Let's look on replay.
In that, to be honest, I hope that's not the fouls they're going to call in the finals of the WNBL this year. That would be really disappointing. It's just a bump of the cutter for my liking. As we see another turnover for the Townsville Fire, their 20th for the game.
I think I get the sense, Screeny, from sort of speaking to your pre-game as well, you didn't see this Townsville Fire winning streak and surge in the back half of the season coming.
No, I didn't. Hand on heart, I can say that. I did see them in the top 4.
Yep.
Took longer to find them than what they did, and just knowing the coaching capabilities of Shannon, and it was always going to take time when you've got new players, new imports, and those type of things. But to go on an 11-game winning streak, and now what will be their 12th, is absolutely sensational. The question is, can they sustain it? And that's the play that I want to see from Zatina. That athletic alley-oop.
Heel, good look for three. Bank wasn't open on that occasion. Can't get it to go. Turnover again by Southside. Can Carly catch fire late in this game? Roof for Heel. The sting really does feel like it's come out of his contest, and both teams just having to get to the finish line. There's a big highlight from Carly Ernst. The rejection sets the Flyers off here at the offensive end of the floor. Conti steps back for three. If you don't mind, Monique Conti.
Well, nothing else has worked really tonight, so you might as well let it fly. You're down by just a touch under 20 points.
Always bringing that spark and energy off the bench, Monique Conti. Ree gets the screen from Akuzo. Goes to work with Ernst in her face. Too good.
Her finishing at the rim on both sides of her body is absolutely elite, considering the size she is. And I think she is a great representation for all the little people out there who play basketball that get told they're too small, you're not big enough, you're never going to make it. To keep persisting and be elite at something and just one thing. And Steph Reed is elite at finishing at the rack on both sides of her body against timber.
Delightful matchup tonight between her and Rochi as the two go to school here. Heel kicks it out. Roof for another triple.
Oh, she has been lockdown money from deep tonight, as we see a nice little cheeky smile towards her teammates on the bench. But hey, you want to be in that form heading into finals. Another threat that Towns will potentially have from deep.
3 of 5 tonight. Conti hits another. Terrific finish from Monique Conti. So both teams letting it fly. And there's not a lot of pace and intensity. These two teams know they have big things ahead of them over the next 7 days. Samuelson lets it fly. It is a 3-point fiesta it's turned into.
Last 3 possessions have equaled 3 threes. Let's see if we can get another one. Who's up?
And Carly Ernst loves a 3-point opportunity. Conti for Cole. This time goes the mid-range attempt. Doesn't come off. As we tick towards full time here, this is the stage if you're a coach, you just hope that you get through unscathed. No concerns from an injury or a discipline perspective. And it looks like we'll see lots of subs as well. The bench players will get an opportunity to have some good court time here with 2.5 minutes left in the game, and Maddie Rochi taking the seat. Shyla Heel continuing to go to work for Townsville. Ledger Walker trying to find McSpadden, did find McSpadden, and Blitzards flabbergasted.
5 fouls to 0 in this 4th quarter against the Southside Flyers. McSpadden averages the 5 points per season. And there's been another recruit for the Townsville Fire.
To fit out your home with Australian-made designer quality window furnishings at the best prices, head to DIYblinds.com.au to order your free samples today. Zara McSpadden heads to the free throw line. Just struggled for minutes, in particular since Akuzo has come back into the lineup after recovering from injury, but we know that she's a quality player, particularly defensively. Was among the top players in the comp for block shots in recent seasons.
It's her 3rd season this year at Townsville, and obviously she knows the system, and it's just about being that role player. What can she add in the minutes that she gets? She's a Newcastle girl from New South Wales. We've seen her play for the Flames as well, and she'll get her opportunity, and it might just be a couple of minutes here or there, but how valuable can she be in those couple of minutes?
They breed them tough in Newcastle, don't they, Screeny?
Susie Bactovic rings a bell. Katie Ray Esby rings a bell. Jenny Screen rings a bell.
Always enjoy a good fourth quarter, third person mention. Great to have your company wherever you're watching. 9 now. It's a 20-point lead for the table-topping Townsville Fire. Conti, that was tough. The Kuzo right there. Couldn't get the tough layup to drop. Might go again for a third triple in the quarter. And Georgia, can't keep it in for Southside. So the Southside Flyers will still finish second on the WNBL ladder. The Melbourne Boomers will await them next week. The Townsville Fire, their attention will turn to another red-hot team in this competition, the Perth Lynx.
Well, I
thought that was going to be an offensive foul, but it's a defensive foul.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, she put the ball on the floor, a bit of an up fake. Probably will wear it as a defensive foul, but so I'm looking forward to it. To Ben is semi-final one, Melbourne Boomers versus Southside Flyers here at State Basketball Centre. I don't think there's enough seats, really. I think it's going to be at capacity for both teams. I wish we could go to a bigger venue, but nonetheless, it's going to be potentially a sellout. It's going to be all the things that we are excited for in terms of physicality, grit.
If you had to do a power rankings right now, Screeny, so the ladder we know goes Townsville, Southside, Melbourne and Perth. Is that your power rankings, though, heading into the final series?
I would, based on performances right now. Yeah, I would. I think Melbourne Boomers have shown a little bit of cracks in the last few games, and they're not what they were midway through the season. Southside, Jackson is a big out. Amy Rochi is a big out. And Townsville, on the other hand, apart from Nicholson, who will hopefully be a starter next Thursday in their semi-final against Perth, they're humming as well. But we haven't even spoken about Perth.
Yeah.
And they're firing on all cylinders. Sammy Whitcomb had 22 points in 18 minutes tonight.
Pretty handy night for Sammy Whitcomb.
So take your pick, Ben.
Yeah.
Take your pick. The top four.
They all bring different strengths to the table as well.
100%. And I think it's going to come down to your scout and matchups one-on-one. Who can win those one-on-one battles will ultimately come up trumps.
A big statement tonight from the Townsville Fire. This team has continued to turn heads in the back half of this Cygnett WNBL season. A delightful dozen for Shannon Seabomb's side. 12 wins on the trot for Townsville. They finish on top of the WNBL ladder in emphatic style and send an ominous statement to the WNBL ahead of the final series. Final score, Townsville 83, the Southside Flyers 61 at the State Basketball Centre. It is Southside's lowest score of this WNBL regular season so far, and another terrific performance, Screening, from Shannon Seabomb's side.
Oh, indeed. I mean, when you shoot 63% for the game, it's nights out. 31 of 49 they were in comparison to 22 of 67.
Yeah.
22 of 67. Almost 20 more shots than your opponent did the Southside Flyers have, and not to mention the 21 turnovers to 14. Townsville, the Southside Flyers. Those categories alone, you would assume it'd be a lot closer scoreline, but Townsville Flyer are just firing on all cylinders at the moment, Ben.
They certainly are. They run out, again, convincing 83 to 61 winners. It's been a successful Victorian road trip. They beat Bendigo a couple of nights ago. As Shannon Seabomb addresses his side, they have knocked over the second place Southside Flyers. As we have a look at some of those key numbers as well, all in the direction from a shooting perspective of Townsville, who were at their efficient best. That was a 70% field goal percentage for Townsville at three-quarter time before both teams kind of just decided to let it fly from the three-point line in that fourth quarter, Jenny.
Absolutely. I mean, they won most statistical categories. The only one they probably didn't want to win is the turnover count. But make no mistake about it, Townsville Fire are all on the same page at the moment. 12 games in a row they have now won, and what a great place to be if you are that team heading into the finals. And you know what the scary part is, Ben? They are heading back home for game one with that crowd behind them, which no doubt will be a sellout with the cowbells, people screaming in your ears. It is going to be electric up there. That will be the 6th player for the Townsville Fire. But, you know, Southside Flyers will reflect on this one, probably put it to bed. Not much to, you know, that you can really work on here to get better at, but they'll be a better team. They'll bounce back and they'll be ready for the Melbourne Boomers on Wednesday night.
There were no standouts tonight from Townsville. It was the definition of a team-orientated performance. All 5 starters for Townsville tonight getting to double figures, but all within the 12 to 16 points. And then Nakuzo comes off the bench and gets 7. Heel hits a couple of field goals as well to finish with 6, and we saw McSpadden have an impact late in the game as well. They are well prepared, the Townsville Fire, for this final series.
And I think that's pretty much a great wrap-up of why they've won 12 on the trot, is that they're selfless, they're all committed, they're on the same page, and on any given night, anyone can step up. Now, normally that's been Southside Flyers' capability as well, and tonight just wasn't their night in terms of their ability to shoot. They just couldn't get momentum from the tip-off, but take nothing away from the Fire. That was pretty much their doing.
One game to come in the 2022-23 Cygnett WNBL regular season. It's the Boomers and the Flames. A good opportunity for the Boomers to have a tune-up before the final series, but the Flames have been in some really good form in recent weeks, and that will be no walk in the park for Melbourne. And then both teams have to quickly shower and get ready for the WNBL Awards a bit later on at Marvel Stadium.
I know, I wouldn't be happy with that. I hope they're not sweating. They've got makeup artists courtside ready to help them get all jazzed up and chic. I think sports chic is the attire for the night. It's going to be electric, and no doubt it'll be a really fun night for all the girls.
It's been an absolute pleasure to bring you this game tonight on 9 Now, this top-of-the-table clash between the Fire and the Flyers. On behalf of Jenny Screen and our entire hard-working team, this is Ben Waterworth signing off from the State Basketball Centre. The Townsville Fire have won 12 games on the trot and are humming ahead of a crunch